Fresh from the endorsements from two of the most prolific anti-war America First prominent Democrats, President Trump spoke to the men and women of the National Guard Association and addressed what I consider to be the most important message of the 2024 presidential campaign cycle. Friends, last week, Donald Trump spoke in Detroit, Michigan, in front of the National Guard Association. He recognizes that the National Guard is the backbone of U.S. armed forces, but is too often dismissed as a critical branch.
We can always count on you. We always can count on you. I've counted on you a lot. The National Guard is America's first and last line of defense, and you do not get the credit you deserve. But actually you do, because down deep, everybody knows it. You get a lot of...
As most of you recall, my first stint in the United States military was in the 1990s, first as a part of the United States Marine Corps Reserves, and then the United States Army. Following September 11th, I re-enlisted, but this time as a member of the Idaho Army National Guard. And in 2005, I was deployed for an 18-month combat tour in Afghanistan. In my experience between the Marine Corps Reserves, the United States Army, and the National Guard, I found the National Guard to be the best trained and most professional and most committed to the mission. I'm glad that President Trump respects that as well. In his speech, he touched on several important topics, including the mess that we call the Veterans Administration hospitals and why our veterans, including National Guardsmen, need better care when they come home. But he also addressed foreign policy, which to me is the most important issue and the fixed singular focus of Bring Our Troops Home. If our soldiers aren't being sent to fight and to be hurt in unconstitutional wars of choice, they'll need less reliance on the VA system later on. Isn't that right? You see, you have to understand that there is no other group doing what we do. There are no other national organizations who are prioritizing keeping the National Guard out of undeclared wars and thus preventing these wars from starting in the first place. That's the goal of the Defend the Guard Act, which my team has gotten introduced into over 30 state legislatures. We have passed the New Hampshire House of Representatives, the Arizona Senate twice, and the Idaho Senate just this year. Those are real, tangible accomplishments that push forward our message and achieve the next step of ending these endless wars in the Middle East and elsewhere. But victories don't come cheap. We must maintain a minimum budget so that we can keep my team working full time so that we have the resources necessary for grassroots activists and advocacy for up to all 50 state legislatures. And that's why we're in desperate need of support from patriots like you. Even as little as $20 a month can make the world's difference in our efforts. So please, before continuing to learn what President Trump promised, please do your part if you can and help build an America First foreign policy and chip in $20 to the cause. Now, getting back to Donald Trump's address to the National Guard Association, Trump did not hold back from predicting that our country is teetering on a very dire edge.
And we have people that are fighting all over the place and threatening our country as we speak. I don't think we've ever been closer to World War III than we are right now. It's a terrible thing. Our country is being destroyed by a radical political class that sends our guardsmen and women to defend the borders of distant foreign nations while they surrender our own borders to an invasion right here at home, the likes of which we've never seen before. You missed birthdays and holidays deploying overseas in the global war on terror.
Trump is correct. National Guardsmen have made up about 45% of the deployed strength of the United States military during the global war on terror. That's the logic of the Defend the Guard Act. Make Congress declare war or deprive the federal government of the manpower needed to fight these and any other illegal war. So what is he going to do about Ukraine? Well, the Biden administration has spent over $150 billion. They've depleted U.S. weapon stockpiles, and they've put the entire world at the risk of nuclear conflagration.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I'll get it settled very fast. I don't want you guys going over there. I don't want you going over there. And I'm the only candidate in this race who can make this promise. I will prevent, this is for the spouses, I will prevent World War III.
That's a pledge that every single presidential candidate should make. It's a pledge of common sense that prioritizes American security and even Ukrainian lives. But Donald Trump took it one step further.
When I'm back in the White House, we will expel the warmongers, the profiteers, and take over our government, and we will restore world peace, and it will be again peace through strength.
Folks, that is a very big promise, and I hope that he keeps it. Do you know what the best way is to hold Donald Trump or any other politician accountable to their word and actually keep every future U.S. president's feet held to the fire? It's by passing the Defend the Guard Act in all 50 states. That's our insurance plan. That's the way the Constitution intended it. That is how you'll keep these politicians honest. Someone who's going to help Trump keep his promise and disengage us from forever war is former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who endorsed him on the stage at the National Guard Association event. Lieutenant Colonel Gabbard is an Iraq war veteran who still serves in the Hawaii National Guard, and there are few people at the national level who so clearly and authentically advocate for veterans. She told the assembled crowd of National Guardsmen this.
This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief. Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace.
I spoke with Tulsi when we shared the stage in Washington, D.C. at the Rage Against the War Machine rally earlier this year, and she has endorsed the Defend the Guard Act. She's now joined by another former prominent Democrat and current Defend the Guard supporter, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., in supporting Donald Trump in 2024. Speaking about RFK Jr. and Tulsi, Trump added this.
This fight is no longer between Democrats and Republicans. This is a fight between communism and freedom. JFK, Democrats, independents, and old-fashioned liberals are joining our movement. Our poll numbers are great. We're uniting forces to end the endless foreign wars.
I hope that's true. I desperately want it to be true. And the only way that we can guarantee that will become true is by passing Defend the Guard, a movement that Trump should enlist himself in, just like his new lieutenants. Bring Our Troops Home is going to continue to be active, and the importance of the National Guard is going to continue to be at the forefront of the discussion in this election season. So please, if you can, do your part, whatever you can. But do it now when it will count the most. Chip in $20, $50, or $100 every month so that we can do right by our soldiers. We can do right by the National Guard, and we can do right by our countrymen and follow the Constitution and finally put America first. Thank you.